Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn a very important topic from cost accounting, that is classification of overheads. So this topic is especially very useful and important as a exam point of view. So let's start with the basic idea. What do we mean by classification of overheads? Classification means grouping similar items under a common head based on their nature, attributes, or relations. In simple word, we put similar expenses together so that it becomes easier to study and control them. Now, in cost accounting, overheads are all those indirect costs that cannot be directly linked to a specific product, job, or service. For example, rent, electricity, factory lighting, supervisor salary. These are the overheads. To manage this cost effectively, we divide them into various group of classifications. This helps in cost control, decision making, and budgeting. Now, why do we need classification of overhead? Because different types of cost serve different purpose. It also helps management to analyze where money is being spent. Also, it makes budgeting and cost control easier, and it provides valuable information for fixing product prices and making business decisions. Now, let's understand types of classification of overheads. So there are five classifications of overheads, that is functional classification, element wise classification, behavior wise classification, control wise classification, and normality classification. Now let's understand one by one. So the first is functional classification. This classification is based on the functions performed in a business. Overheads are divided into four types, that is factory overheads, administrative overheads, selling overheads, and distribution overheads. Factory overheads are indirect costs related to manufacturing process. For example, indirect wages, factory rent, power, depreciation on machinery, etc. Also, administrative overheads are expenses for general management like office salaries, stationery, telephone, postage, etc. Selling overheads are costs incurred for promoting and selling goods like advertising, sales commission, travel expenses, uh, like that. Another is distribution overhead. It is expenses related to delivery of goods to customers. For example, packing, carriage outward, warehouse rent, delivery van expenses, etc. Now, the second one is element wise classification. This classification is based on elements of cost. It includes three parts. First is indirect material. Indirect material is materials used indirectly in a production. For example, glue, nails, small tools, lubricating oils, etc. Another second one is indirect labor. It is workers who assist but do not directly produce goods. For example, supervisors, watchmen, cleaners, etc. Third is indirect expenses. All other overheads, for example, rent, insurance, lighting, depreciation, etc. Now, let's understand behavior wise classification. This classification depends on how the cost behaves with changes in output. First one is fixed overheads. Remains constant regardless of production. For example, rent, salaries, insurance, etc. These expenses or these costs are remain fixed whether the output changes or not. So second is variable overheads. These overheads changes directly with production. For example, power, indirect material, sales commission, etc. And the last one is semi variable overheads. it have both of fixed and variable parts. For example, electricity bill. um in the electricity bill, fixed meter charge and the variable usage is also include. Also, the another example would be telephone charges, yeah, etc. Next is control wise classification. This classification is based on whether the cost can be controlled by management. So these costs are classified into controllable and uncontrollable. Let's understand controllable overheads. These can be influenced by managers. For example, indirect material, overtime, wages are controllable by managers. Second one is uncontrollable overheads. Cannot be controlled by specific level of management. For example, rent, depreciation and insurance, these are fixed. Now, let's understand next, that is normality classification. This classification depends on whether the overhead is normal or abnormal. Normal overheads incurred under regular operating conditions, for example, normal wastage, routine repairs, power cost, etc. Another one is abnormal overheads. It is arise due to unexpected and abnormal situations. For example, fire loss, theft, or abnormal wastage. So, classification of these overheads is very important. It simplifies cost control and analysis. It helps in efficient budgeting, supports management decisions, and ensures accurate product costing. So, in the conclusion, classification of overhead helps us properly arrange and analyze this cost. By classifying these overheads, management can take better decisions and reduce wastage. So, that's it for today. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.